Hello everyone, welcome back to Vyasa IAS CSAT course. Let's start the lecture on time and work. Let's start the lecture on time and work. Um, so this is the general application of the concept that we have studied till now. Time and work is nothing but it is just the multiplication concept, because obviously you know what will be the work rate, okay, into time will give you the entire number of hours or the entire number of amount of work. Okay, so it is just a general application, but we'll see how we can proceed in these types of questions. So let's just begin the concept. Now student, look at this. uh, let's say we are having a work, okay, and if there is a some person A who does a work in A days, okay, so we are assuming that there is a person A and he is able to complete entire amount of work, okay, he is able to complete entire amount of work in A number of days, okay, and there is a person B who is able to complete a given work and its entire amount of work in B days. Okay, in B days he is able to do. Now, then in one day, if A and B work together, then their combined work is how much? Okay. So see, if any person A is able to do the entire amount of work in A days, so then in one day, this person A will be able to do 1 by A of the entire work. Okay. So see, in A days, it is able to do a complete work, okay, one amount of work. So in one day it is able to do 1 by A amount of work. Okay, I hope everybody is able to understand this thing. So we have a work, let's say any work, okay, and in A days he is able to complete the entire amount of work, that is complete work, that is one. So in one day it is this A person is able to complete 1 by A of the work, okay, in one day this person is able to complete 1 by A of the work, fine. So now we get 1 by A, and in similarly for B person, he is able to do 1 by B of the work in one day, okay. So this 1 by A and 1 by B is the amount of the work that can be done by both A and B in one day, okay. So if a person A is able to complete entire work in A days, then in one day it is doing 1 by A of the work. Okay, you can even remember this thing. All right, because this will be very useful to us. So similarly, if these people are doing 1 by A and 1 by B amount of the work in one day separately, then working together they are doing 1 by A plus 1 by B amount of the work. Okay, so that means in one day they are doing A plus B divided by A amount of the work. In one day they are doing this much amount of the work. Now it is asking in how many days they will complete the work together. So you know that uh, this A person is able to do the entire work in A days. Okay, so for this person the entire work required is A days. For this person B, the entire work requires B days, okay, and in one day A and B together do this much amount of the work, okay. So once you calculate the total amount of the work from here, just multiply that amount of the work here and you will get to know how much in how many days they will complete the work, okay. So see, this is just a concept. When we will do the question, it will become more clear to you, because then we'll have numerical values, okay. So from here the key takeaway is that if a person A is able to complete A amount of work in one day, then in one day this person A will be able to do 1 by A times of the work, okay, 1 by A times of the work. Similarly, if B is able to do entire amount of the work in B days, then in one day they will be able to do 1 by B times of the work, okay, 1 by B times of the work. So this is how you can do this question. Let's move on to the next question. So next approach, sorry. Now see, I told you that if a person A is able to do entire amount of work in A days, then in one day A is able to do 1 by A times of the work. Okay. Now there is another approach to know how much work A does in one day. Okay, what is that approach? See, this approach is personally very favorite for me. Why? Because I am very much calculating, comfortable in calculating the percentages. Okay, so now look at this approach. It says that if this A does a work in 8 days, okay, then in one day, see, I am saying this A person is doing is going to do a complete amount of work in 8 days. Okay, this A person is going to do a complete amount of work in 8 days. Okay, in 8 days. Then in one day, how much work will be done? So this person, A person, is doing 100% of the work in 8 days, because complete work is what, 100%. So I am saying that this A person is doing a complete amount, that is 100% of the work in 8 days. So in how many days this will do the complete work together? So see, if it is doing in 8 days, it is doing 100% of the work. Then in one day, it is doing 100 by A% of the work. Okay, so for example, if someone says that this person A does entire work in 4 days, then in one day, how much work he'll do? So he'll do 25% of the work. This becomes so simple. Okay, so if he is able to do entire amount of the work in 4 days, then he's doing in one day 25% of the work. If he is doing entire amount of the work in 8 days, then he is able to do in one day he's able to do 12.5% of the work. Okay, so this is how you calculate. Okay, so finally, if this person does some percentage of work in one day, and this B person will do another percent of the work in another. So then in one day, if A and B work together, then combined work is how much? So combined work will be given by how much? 100 divided by A and 100 divided by B. Okay, 100 divided by A plus 100 divided by B. So this is how you solve this question. Okay, this is how you solve this question. Now see, it is saying if A can do a work in 10 days and B can do the same work in 12 days, then the work will be completed in how many days? Okay, so let's calculate this. So this is saying if A can do a work in 10 days, okay, then in one day A is doing how much amount of the work? 1 by 10. Okay, and if B can do the same work in 12 days, okay, so B is doing work in 12 days. Okay, so in one day, how much work this is doing? 1 by 12 of the work. Okay, so in one day combined, A and B are doing how much work? 1 by 10 plus 1 by 12. Okay, so to complete the entire amount of the work, how much time will be required? That will be equal to 1. Okay, because complete work is 1 here. Okay, complete work is 1 here. So that is what I am saying. Now they are doing this much amount of the work they are doing. This A is doing 1 by 10 amount of the work in one day, and this B is doing 1 by 12 amount of the work in one day. Okay, so now you need to calculate the time, because this is the work done. Okay, this is the work done in one day. Okay, and then there is a time that will be required, and one is what, the complete amount of the work. Okay, one is what here, the complete amount of the work. So let us just calculate how much amount we are getting here. Okay, so LCM you do, you will get 120, you add 12 here, you add 10 here. Okay, so you are getting how much? This is 22 upon 120 into t is equals to 1. Okay, so that will be equal to 120 divided by 22. Okay, so this will come to be how much? This will come to be this will be 11, this will be 60. Okay, and 60 by 11, so you will get something 5.55. Okay, so 11 5s are 55, and then you will again get 50, then you will put 4, then you will get 44. Okay, sorry, then you will get 44 here. Okay, then you will get how much? 6, and you will get this on repeating 0.5454. So almost, let us say 0. Sorry, 5.5 5.4 and so on. So we'll get 5.5. Okay, so this A and B will be able to do this much amount of the work in 5.5 days. Okay, so I hope everybody is clear with this format. Okay, we'll see the alternate method as well. We'll apply the alternate method as well while doing this question. So let us see that. Okay. Okay, so let us just see another method. Okay, now see, I am saying alternative method is that A is doing 100% of the work in 10 days. Okay, A is doing 100% of the work in 10 days and B is doing 100% of the work in 12 days. Okay, B is doing 100% of the work in 12 days. Then the work will be completed in how many days? Okay, then the work will be completed in how many days? So let us see in how many days the work will be completed. See, if this one is doing 100% of the work in 10 days, then that means in one day A is doing 10% of the work. Okay, in one day A is doing 10% of the work, and this B is doing 100% of the work in 12 days. That means it is doing 100 divided by 12. This is 250 to 6 times. Okay, this is 25, this is 3, and here you will divide, you will get 8.33%. Okay, so in one day 18.33% of the work is done. How? Because A is also performing that day and B is also performing that day. So A is contributing to doing 10% of the work and B is contributing to doing 8.33% of the work. So together you are getting 18.33% of the work. Fine. Now this 18.33 into how many days? Okay, into how many days, that is time, is equals to 100%. Okay, so here you can find the days. Just divide 100 by 18.33 and you will get the number of days required. Okay, and you will get the number of days required. So let us just divide 100 divided by 18.33. How much will get? Okay, so how we can do this? See, 18 3 times is how much? 8, it will be, I think, 54. Okay, 18 4 times is how much? 8 fours are 36, sorry, 32, and you will get this 72. And how much is this? 8 fives are 40, and this will become 90. Okay, and see, it will not go 18 into 6 because that will be bigger. So you will have 5 point something. Okay, 5 point something. There also we were getting 5.5454. Here also we are getting 5 point something. Okay, so this is the method that works in both. Okay, sometimes you will get decimal, no problem. We'll get to that answer. Okay, there is no problem in applying these concept, I think. So let us move forward. Okay, so this is just the basic implementation of our concept. Now see, let us discuss what is the concept of negative work. Okay, so now see, I was constructing there, or I was doing some productive work, so I was adding. So I added 10% of the work of A and uh, it 8.33% of the work of B. Now let us see some percent C, some percent C is destroying that work. By how much? By 0.33% every day. So what I will do, total work done in one day, I'll do 10 plus 8.33 minus 0.33. So I'll get 18%. Okay, so I'll get 18%. So whoever is doing negative work or destroying, or like in this case, if we are trying to build a wall, then this C person is trying to break the wall. Okay, so his work will add as negative work, and then we'll have this total amount of work done in day one. And if this is percentage, then divide 100 by this. Okay, and if this is in like that day concept, then you can obviously calculate this thing, do time multiply and just equate it to 1, you will get your answer. Okay, so this is so simple. So what this concept actually is there is that, for example, let us consider that we are trying to construct a wall. Okay, that we are trying to construct a wall. Now this A and B are working together to build a wall. Okay, uh, and the C is working to break the wall. So these both are working together to build the wall. Okay, and this one is trying to break the wall. Okay, so now if this one does in A days, okay, if this one builds the wall in A days, and this B builds the wall in B days, and the C builds the wall in C days, sorry, breaks the wall in C days, okay, breaks the wall in C days, then the in then the work done in one day, how will calculate? So this A is doing 1 by A of the work in one day. Okay, this B is doing 1 by B of the work in one day. Okay, and this C is doing 1 by C of the work in one day, but it is destroying, it is doing negative work. So how much work is done in one day? 1 by A plus 1 by B minus 1 by C. Okay, so we'll get C. Okay, now you can obviously calculate this. You will do ABC and this will become BC. This will become AC. This will become minus of AB. Okay, so this is the amount of the work done in one day, and into time you will do. So C is equals to 1. So work done in one day, sorry, entire work done can be given by what you know, ABC divided by BC plus AC minus AB. Now this can be a standard formula. Okay, so that entire work will be done in this much time. But don't try to remember this formula. Try to remember this method. Okay, what I am saying, for example, if I am saying that this A person does a work in 10 days, this B person does a work in, let's say, 12 days, and the C person destroys the work in 6 days. Okay, so in how many days the entire work will be done? Okay, so see, let us make this at least 11 days. Okay, this C person will destroy in 11 days. So in how many days the entire work will be done can be given by what you know actually. See, you can apply this ABC. What is ABC? 10 into 12 into 11. Okay, divided by BC. What is BC? 10 into 12. AC. What is AC? AC is 10 into 11 and minus of AB. So what is minus of AB? That is minus 10 into 12. Okay, so this will come to be what? But now you see this calculation is so cumbersome. Will you do by this method? No, not at all. You will just calculate it directly and you will do these things directly. Okay, so that is what I am saying. है ना? And percentage is also very easy. So for example, if someone is saying that A does a work in 10 days, B does a work in, let's say, 8 days, and C destroys a work in 9 days. So in how many days you will complete the work if these three are working together? So this is doing 10% of the job daily. Okay, this is doing 100 divided by 8, that is how much? 25 divided by 2, that is 12.5% of the job daily, and this is doing 100 divided by 9, that is how much? Obviously you can calculate this will come how much? 9 1 times. Okay, and then again 9 1 times, so this will be this. Okay, this will be this, so this will be 11.1%. 11.11%. Okay, now this much work is done in one day, 10 plus 12.5, and this much work is destroyed, 11.1%. So total work left is how much? 22.5 divided by sorry, subtracted by minus 11.1. So this will come to be 4, this will come to be 1, so you will have 11.4. Okay, 11.4% of the work is done in one day. So in how many days you will do 100% of the work? Okay, so you will do what? You will just divide this 100 by 11.4% and you will get your answer. Okay, so this is how you can do these kind of questions. I think now everybody must be familiar with this. Okay, fine, let's move forward. Now let's see this question. A can build a wall in 10 days, B can build a wall in 5 days, while C completely destroys the wall in 20 days. If they start working together at the same time, in how many days the work will be completed? Okay, so let us do this question. So A can build a wall in 10 days. Okay, that means A is doing 1 by 10 of the work in each day. B can build a wall in 5 days. That means B can do 1 by 5 of the work each day, and C can completely destroy the wall in 20 days. So that means this can do 1 by 20 work in uh, and 1 by 20 of the destruction work in one day. Okay, so how can we calculate 1 by 10 plus 1 by 5 minus 1 by 20? So this is the amount of the work done in one day. Okay, so this is, see, you can obviously do this in point format also. Into t should be equal to 1. So this is 0 0.1. This is how much? This is, if this is 0 0.1, then this is how much? 5, 0 and uh, 0 0.2. Okay, because if you do 5 into 0 0.2, you will get how much? You will get 1. Okay, you will get 1. So this is 0 0.2, this is 0 0.1, and this is how much? See, you have 20. So zero point 0, okay, and zero point 0 again, and so this will come to be minus 0.05 into t is equals to 1. Okay, so now what you are getting? 0.3 minus 0.05 into t is equals to 1. So you are getting what? 0.3 minus 0.05. Okay, so this is coming to be 5. Okay, this is coming to be how much? 2. So you are getting 0.25. 0.25 into t is equals to 1. Fine. And this t is now equals to 1 divided by 0.25. Okay, 1 divided by 0.25. So 100 divided by 25, because multiply 100 here and multiply 100 here. So this time will be equal to 4 days. This time is coming equal to 4 days. Fine. So I hope everybody is clear with this thing. Now let us try this same question with our percentages concept. Okay, so this A is doing uh, entire work in 10 days. That means 100% of the work is done in 10 days. Okay, that means in one day 10% work is done. How I got this? 100 divided by 10. Okay, so in one day 10% of the work is done. Similarly, this B can do entire work in 5 days. Okay, so in 100% work is done in 5 days. Okay, so in one day how much work is done? I'll divide 100 divided by 5. So that is 20% of the work daily this person B is doing. Similarly, this C can destruct the wall in 10-20 days. So in one day, how much he is destructing? 100 divided by 20. So this is coming to be how much? 5%. Okay, this is coming to be how much? 5%. So this becomes 10% plus 20% minus 5%. So that means 30% minus 5%. So that means 25% work is done in one day. Okay, so if 25% work is done in one day, that means to do 100% of the work, just multiply 25 into 4. So this will become 100%. So this comes to be 4 days. So this is how we saw two methods. And I think now you can do with the help of both the methods. Okay, so this is how we do this kind of questions. Okay, now let us move forward. I hope everybody is able to understand this. Now see, the equation actually we are applying is that work rate into time is equals to work done. Okay, so work rate means what? How much work you are able to do. Okay, so work rate can be either it can be work per hour, okay, or it can be work per day, or it can be work per month, whatever the unit is given to you. So this will be work per day into time will be number of days, okay, into work done means entire amount of the work done which is required, okay. So this is the equation which we are actually applying, okay. This is the equation we are actually applying. What? Work rate into time is equals to work done, okay. Work rate is equals to time is equals to work done. So when I am saying in the last question that 25% of the work is done daily, so that is work rate. And when I am saying that 4 days are required, that is time, and work done is equals to how much? 100%. So the work is completed in 4 days. Okay. So this is the equation actually we are using. I hope everybody is comfortable with this equation now. And let us move forward. Okay. Now let us do this question. Now look at this question. It is saying a contractor estimates that he will finish the road construction project in 100 days by employing 50 men. Okay. However, at the end of the 50th day, when as per his estimation, the half of work should have been completed, he finds that only 40% of his work is done. How many more days will be required to complete the work, and how many more men should he employ in order to complete the work in time? Okay, so now let us do this question. What it is saying? It is saying a contractor estimates that he will finish the road construction project in 100 days. Okay, so he will finish the road construction project in 100 days by employing 50 men. Okay. Now, however, at the end of the 50th day, However, at the end of the 50th day, as per his estimation, only half of the work is done. Okay, only half of the work is done. As per his estimation, by employing 50 men, however, at the end of the 50th day, only half, as per his estimation, half the work should have been completed. He finds that only 40% is completed. Okay, so now let us see what kind of concepts we can apply here. Um, the question is saying a contractor estimates that he will finish the road construction project in 100 days by employing 50 men. However, at the end of the 50th day, when as per his estimation, half of the work should have been completed, he finds only 40% of his work is done. How many more days will be required to complete the work done, and how many more men should he employ in order to complete the work in time? Okay. So let us solve this question. Now, what this question is saying, it is saying that there is a project which was estimated to be completed in 100 days. Okay. By employing how many men? By employing 50 men. Okay. Now, however, it is saying at the end of the 50th day, when as per his estimation, the half of work should have been completed, he finds that only 40% of the work is completed. Okay. He finds that only 40% of the work is completed. So, in how many days the work will be completed? Okay, so they are saying what? They are saying that half of the work is complete in 50 days, 40% work is completed. Okay, in 50 days, 40% work is completed. Fine. So that means 1% work is completed. 40% work is completed in 50 days. Okay. That means 1% work is completed in how many days? 50 by 40. Okay. 50 by 40 days. That means 60% work will be completed in how many days? 50 by 40 into 60. So this becomes 0. Okay, this becomes 3, this becomes 2, this becomes 25, and 25 into 3, it is 75%, 75 days, sorry, 75 days. So I hope you can apply this unitary method. What I am saying that 40% work is completed in 50 days. Okay, now I have to find, see, it is saying how many more days will be required to complete the work. So because 40% work is completed, you need 60% more work to be done. Okay, and we have to find in how many days 60% work will be done. Okay, so see, you can calculate how by unitary method, because 40% work is done in 50 days. Okay, that means 1% work is done in how many days? 50 by 40. Okay, that means 60% work will be done in how many days? 50 by 40 into 60. So that means how much? 75. This will come to be 75. Okay, this will come to be 75 days. Fine. So I hope everybody is familiar with this concept. Now it is saying how many more men should he employ in order to complete the work in time. Okay, how many more men should he employ in order to complete the work in time? So now let us see this. Okay, how many more men? Now we have to complete the 60% work. Okay, and 60% work is to be completed in how many days? 50 days. Okay, and 50 men can only do 40% of the work in 50 days. Okay, 50 men can only do how much work? 40% of the work in 50 days. Okay, so that means, see, 50 into 50, that means 2500 man days. Okay, 2500 man days, because one man is working for one day, that means it is one man day. So 50 man is working for 50 days. So that means 2500 man days is equals to 40%. Okay, 2500 man days is equals to 40%. Fine. So 60% is how much? Okay, 60% is how much? So 40% is equals to 2500 man days. Fine. Okay, so 1% is equals to 2500 divided by 40 man days. Okay, and 60% is equals to 2500 divided by 40 into 60. Okay, so this will become how much? This will become this. This will become 3. This will become 2. Okay, and this will become how much? 1250. In now this will become 1250 into 3. So zeros, 3 fives are 15, 1 carry, 2 threes are 6, 7, and 3750 days of work we have to do more. Okay, now you have to do this in 50 days. Okay, so how many man you will require? Okay, how many man you will require? So man into 50 is equals to 3750. So how many man? 3750 divided by 50. So 5. Now this is how much? 5 sevens are 35. Okay, and this is 5 fives are 25. So you need 75 men to complete the work in how many days? 50 days. But you already have 50 men. Okay, you already have 50 men. So how many more men you need? 25 more men you need. Okay, how many more man you need? 25 more man you need. So see, what I used in this question is the concept of man days. Okay, so man days concept is what? See, big man days concept is, let us say, if it's said to us that this project can be completed in 100 days by 50 men. Okay, so I'll multiply this number of men and I'll multiply this number of days. So this will give me man days. Okay, 5000 man days. So according to this contractor, he said that I will do this work in 5000 man days. Okay, I will do this work in 5000 man days. That means I require this much. One man can do this much work in can do this entire work in how many days? In 5000 days. Okay, so this man days actually tells us that one man can do this much work amount, this much work in how many days? So one man can do this much work in 5000 days. So 50 men will be able to do in 100 days. If you take 100 men, so they will be able to do in 50 days. Okay, so this is what the concept is saying. But in this case, how many more men should he apply in order to complete the work in time? So what was it saying? That the efficiency became lower. So 50 days 50 days, okay, only 40% of the work was completed, fine. So now we have to complete 60% of the work, okay. So what it is saying, 50 days, how many men work? 50 men work. So 50 into 50, that means 2500 man days. 2500 man days are required to complete 40% of the work, okay. So that means 1% of the work is completed in 2500 man days divided by 40, and that means 60% of the work is completed in 2500 divided by 40 into 60, okay. So this is the concept of man days, fine, and this is how we can do this question. So you were able to find that if we take 50 days, then how many men are required? And already we have 50 men, so just add 25 men more. So you get the answer. Okay. So you get the answer from here. Okay. Now let us discuss this question once more. Why? Because I am telling. See, it said in 50 days, 40% of the work is done. Now 60% work is left. Okay. Now see, if 40% of the work was done in 50 days, that means 20% of the work will be done in 25 days. Okay, 25 days. And the 60% means 40% plus 20%. Okay, 40% of the work is done in 50 days and 20% of the work is done in 25 days. So that is 75 days. Okay, so that unitary method, if you want to skip, you can do from here also. Okay, so this is very direct calculation. When we are aptitude student, we use these kind of tricks to go around about our questions. So this is what I'm saying. Okay. Now see, we are talking about the specific case of building a wall. Okay. So for example, it is given that a wall of length L1 with breadth B1 and height H1. Okay, has to be built, and the number of men required are M1. Okay, the number of time, the time that is per hour, let's say these men are working for 8 hours a day. Okay, 8 hours a day, and they are able to build in 3 days. Okay, so that is B1, fine. Now if the length, breadth and height is changed, okay, and the efficiency remains the same, then we can take this M2, T2 and D2. Okay, so this equation we can use what is this equation? That L1 into B1 into H1 divided by L2 into B2 into H2 is equals to M1 into T1 into D1 divided by M2 into T2 into D2. Okay, so let us see how we can apply this in case of our question. Okay, now you see it is saying 20 men, okay, are working 8 hours a day. Okay, that means what is given? The number of men, M1 is given, the number of hours, okay, or time, let us say T1 is given. Can 20 men working 8 hours a day can completely build a length, can completely build a wall of length, let us say L1 is equals to 200 meter, B1 is equals to 10 meter, and H1 is equals to 20 meter in how many days? D1 is equals to 10 days. Fine. How many days will 25 men? Okay, 25 men working 12 hours a day. Okay, 12 hours a day require to build. So D2 is not given. Okay, this is D2. D2 is not given. Will will a day required to build a wall of length L2 is equals to 400 meter. Okay. B2 is equals to 10 meter and H2 is equals to 15 meter. Okay. And H2 is equals to 15 meter. So now you have what? L1 B1 into H1 divided by L2 B2 into H2. Okay. Is equals to M1 into T1 into D1 divided by M2 into T2 into D2. Now let us just keep the whatever is asked in the um, question, whatever values are given. So L1 was how much? 200 meter. Length is given. Okay. Breadth is given 10 meter. Let us keep this breadth. Height is given 20 meter. Let us keep this here. Okay. Now for the second wall, we have 400 meter. For the breadth, we have 10 meter. For the height, we have 15 meter. And M1 means number of men. So 20 men, how many hours of day they are working? 8 hours. How many days? 10 days. Okay, and here we have to just find days only. So here we are taking 25 men, 12 hours a day, and this D2 is how much? Let us find this out. Okay, let us find this out. Okay, so this 10 and 10 will get cancelled. This will become 4, this will become 3, this will become 0, this will become 1 by 2, this will become 2. So you have this 2 by 3 divided by 20 into 8 into 10 divided by 25 into 12 into D2. Okay, so you have this 4 by 5 and you have this um, okay, you have this 4 by 5, you have this 2 by 3, and you have this 10. Okay, so this 2 and this 2 will get cancelled, this 3 and this 3 will get cancelled. Fine. Now you have 5 divided by 40 is equals to 1 by D2. That means D2 is equals to what? 40 by 5, and that is equals to 8 days. Okay, so see, so much information is given. We just have to find this one, but everything is interrelated, so we can do this way. Okay, so what we are doing actually here is let us understand the concept once more. So we had L1, length of the first wall, B1, breadth of the first wall, H1, height of the first wall. Similarly, we had L2, length of the second wall, B2, breadth of the second wall, and H2, height of the second wall. Okay, and the efficiency of the workers is the same. Okay, now the workers are working. So number of men, let us take M1, and for this wall number of men, let us take M2. For the time they are working in a day, we will take T1. Here we will take T2. Okay, and for the number of this day, okay, so we are taking this day, let's say, as D1. We are taking, let's say, this day as D2. So L1 into B1 into H1 divided by L2 into B2 into H2 is equals to M1 into T1 into D1, okay, divided by M2 into T2 into D2. Okay, so I'll put all the values here and we'll find D2. So this is how we can do this question. So I hope everybody is clear with this concept. Let's move on to the next concept. Okay. Now, see, let us just look at the concept of efficiency. Now, the concept of efficiency is closely related to work rate. Okay, so see, when I am saying that, let's say men are twice as efficient as women. Okay, men are twice as efficient as women. Okay, so what I am saying, that if we are putting men to work, okay, I am not saying with the gender perspective. Okay, don't take me wrong, I am just explaining with the perspective of aptitude. So if we are putting men to work and men are able to complete some work in, let's say, 84 man days, okay, 84 man days, so women will be able to complete this much work in how many days? Twice the time women will take. Okay, so 2 into 84, that means 8, and this will be 168 days. Okay, 168 women days. So what I mean here is that if someone is saying that men are half as efficient as women, okay, so that means if men are taking 84 days, then women will take only 42 days to complete this work. Okay, so this is what I am saying. Fine, so let us apply this concept in the question. How we can apply this concept in the question? It is saying 8 men can do a work in 12 days while 20 women can do it in 10 days. Okay, 8 men can do a work in 12 days while 20 women can do it in 10 days. Okay, so in how many days can 12 men and 15 women can complete the same work? Okay, so see how we can do this question. It is saying 8 men can do a work in 12 days. Fine, so that means you can actually you can do this question by different method, but let us see one by one what are the methods. Okay, so that means men are taking 84 sorry 12 into 8. Okay, So that means this is how much? 96 man days to complete work. Okay, 96 man days to complete work. Okay, and women are taking how many days? Women, 20 women are doing this work in 10 days. Okay, so 20 women are doing this work in 10 days. Okay, that means women are taking 200 women days to complete this work. Okay, so men are taking 96 man days. Okay, men are taking 96, sorry, not 96. Yes, this is 96 only. So men are taking 96 man days and women are taking 200 women days to complete the work. Okay. Now, see, I already told you what this 96 man days means. Okay. 96 man days means that one man will be able to do the work in 96 days. Okay. One man will be able to do the work in 96 days, and when women will be able to do the work in 200 days. Okay, one woman will be able to do the work in 200 days. Fine. So one man is working how much? 1 by 96 of the work in one day, and one woman is doing 1 by 200 of the work in one day. Fine. Now we are employing 12 men and 15 women. So 12 men will be doing 12 divided by 96 work in one day, and uh, 15 women will be doing 15 divided by 200 work in one day. Fine. And we have to know the time, and our work is how much? One only. We have to do one work only. So 12 this becomes 1 by 8. Okay. That means 12 women will, sorry, 12 men will do 1 by 8th of the work in one day. Okay, 12 men will do 1 by 8th of the work in one day, and 15 women will do how much work? 15 divided by 200, that is this will be 3, and this will be 40. 3 by 40. Okay, 3 by 40 of the work in one day. Okay, so this comes to be how much? Okay, our this is completely filled. So let us rub this all and this. So this comes to be how much? This becomes 1 by 8 plus this becomes 3 by 40. Okay, this much work is done and this has to be equal to 1. Okay, so that we can calculate time. So we get this 40 here, we get this 5 here. Okay, plus 3 into t. Okay, so this comes to be how much? 8 by 40, and you know this is 1 by 5, and time required is 5 days. Okay, time required is 5 days. Okay, so I explained you this with the help of man days concept. Okay, now see, we could have directly also done this, because 8 men can do work in 12 days. Okay, 8 men can do work in 12 days. That means one man can do work in 12 by 8 days. Okay, 12 by 8 days, fine. Or in one day, 8 men are doing how much of work? Okay, in one day, 8 men are doing 1 by 12th of the work. Okay, because in 12 days, 8 men are completing entire work. Okay, so in one day, 8 men are doing 1 by 12 of the work. Okay, in one day, 8 men are doing 1 by 12 of the work. Okay, and you know, in one day, one man is doing how much work? 1 by 12 into 8, so 1 by 96 only we got. Okay, and then we are multiplying here 12. So we are getting this by unitary method also, but see, if you apply the concept of man days, it is much easy. Why? Because I am telling you the meaning of man days. Okay, so I am saying men require 96 man days to complete the work, which is 12 days into 8 men. Okay, and I am saying women require 20 into 10, that is 200 women days to complete the work. Okay, 200 women days to complete the work. In how many days 12 men and 15 women can complete the same work? So we have 12 men and 15 women. Okay, we have 12 men and 15 women to complete the same work. So in how many days they will be able to do it? Okay, so we have 1 by 12 divided by 1 by 15. Okay, 1 by 12 divide, sorry, we have this, sorry, forget this. Okay, so we have this what 1 by 96 of the work is done by one man in one day, and 1 by 200 1 by 200 of the work is done by one woman in one day. Why? Because one man can do this entire amount of the work in 96 days, and one woman can do this entire amount of the work in 200 days. Okay, so now we have 1 by 96 and 1 by 200, the work done by one man in one day. So work done by 12 man in 96 days is this much. Okay, and work done by 15 women in one day is 1 by 200. So this is the amount of the work that is done in one day. Okay, this is the amount of the work is done in one day. So if you are able to calculate the amount of work in one day and you just reverse that, you will get your time taken. Okay, so see, here it is coming 1 by 8, here this is coming 3 by 40. Okay, now you take this. Okay, so you have 40 and this will be 5, this will be 3, you get 8 by 40. Just reverse this, you get 40 by 8 and your answer comes equals to 5 days. Okay, and you can do this with the help of your percentage method also, because see, uh, 96 man days, okay, 100% of the work is done. Okay, so in one man day, 100 by 96% of the work is done. So you can do in this way also, but let us stick to one method only. Okay, that man days work very well for you, I think. Okay, so this is how we can do these question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now this is saying, let us look at this question. A can do a piece of work in 10 days and B in 12 days. Okay, find how much time will they take to complete the work under the following condition working together. Okay, so A is taking 10 days to complete the work and B is taking 12 days to complete the work. Okay, now if they work together, in how many days the work will be completed? So in one day, A and B together. Okay, in one day, A and B together will do how much amount of work? 1 by 10 plus 1 by 12. Okay, so this becomes 12 plus 10 divided by 120, that means 22 by 120, and just reverse this. Okay, so you have 120 by 22, so this becomes 60 by 11, so this becomes 5.5454, or you can write 5.5. Okay, or you can write 5 by 11 days. Okay, working alternately starting with A. Okay, working alternately starting with A. So see, here how we can do working alternately starting with A. Here we can use the percentage concept very well. Okay, how we can use the percentage concept very well? See, this A is doing how much percent work in one day? So it is completing entire 100% work in 10 days. So that means in one day this A is doing 10% of the work. Okay, now B is doing how much percent of the work in one day? B is completing the work in 12 days, so 100% divided by 12, so we'll get 8.33%. Okay, now if we are starting with A, so first day A will do 10% of the work, B will do 8.33% of the work. Second day A will do 10% of the work, B will do 8.33% of the work. Third day will do 10% and this will do 8.33% of the work. Okay, fourth day this will do 10% of the work, this will do 8.33% of the work. Okay, so we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This will do 10% of the work and this will do 8.33% of the work. Now let us just calculate how much work is being done. Okay, so you have 50% of the work done by A. Okay, and this 8.33 into 5 is how much? 8.33 into 5, 3 5s are 15, 1 carryover, 3 5s are 15, you have 6, and this 8 5s are 40, 41.65%. 41, that means 91.65%. Okay, 91.65% work is done. So if A works only 10 days, one more 10 day, okay, so that means now 101.65% of the work is completed. That means 100% is completed. Okay, so how many man days are required? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So 11 days. Okay, 11 days if they are working alternately starting with A. Okay, if they are working alternately starting with A. Similarly, you can calculate for B as well. So B will do 8.33% of the work, then A will come 10, then 8.33, then A will come 10. Okay, now see, we calculate 91.65% of the work, and then see, 10 days we calculated already. Okay, then on the 11th day when B comes to work, he will do 8.33% of the work. So this is going to be 8 9, and this is going to be 99.98% of the work, but the work has not been completed. So even 12th day is also required, and in 12th day A will do a little amount of the work, and then the work will be completed. So A is completing 10% of the work. How much work is left? Only 0.12% of the work, sorry, 0.02% of the work is left. Okay, 0.02% of the work is left, and A can do 10% of the work. So some half of the day will be required. Okay, so you can write some 12 point something percent of the work. Okay, 12 point something. Fine. Or 11 point something, not the complete 12th day will not be required. Okay, so this is how you can do this. Fine. Now it is saying if B leaves 2 days before the actual completion of the work. Now see, it is saying if B leaves 2 days before the scheduled completion of the work. Okay, so find how much time will they complete. Will it take to complete the work? So if A and B are working together, okay, if A and B are working together, so that means in one day how much amount of work they are doing? This much. 12 plus 10 divided by 120. Okay, 12 divided by 120. Fine. So if it is saying if B leaves 2 days before actual completion of the work. Okay, so 2 days before actual completion of the work means, see, that means actual completion requires how many days? You find how much time will the complete work under the following condition. If B leaves 2 days before the actual completion of the work, that means this 1 by 12% of the work will not come. Okay, so the actual amount of the time we require is 5 by 11 days. Okay, 5 by 11 days. If B leaves 2 days before the actual completion of the work, then till that time 3 by 11 times of the work will be done. Okay, you can calculate this from here. This is 22 by 120. Okay, so 120 divided by 22 gives you actual time of the completion of the work. If B leaves 2 days before the actual completion of the work, that means 3 by 11 times this much work is done. Okay, and the rest amount of work who is doing? A is doing. So how many days it will take? Okay, so in 3 by 11 days, that is 88. Sorry, 33 plus 5 divided by 11, that is 38 by 11 days. Okay, 38 by 11 days, and you are doing how much of the work each day? Okay, you are doing 22 by 120 of the work each day. So this much amount of the work is done, and this much is how much work? Okay, let us just find out. So this will go 19 times, and this will go to 60 times. Okay. And this is how much? This is 38 divided by 60. Okay. 38 divided by 60. That means this much work is done. How much work is left? Obviously 22. Okay. 22 by 60 work is left. Okay. 38 by 60 work is done. 22 by 60 work is left, and this 22 by 60 work has to be completed by whom? This A1. Okay, so in how many days he'll complete? So this A completes 1 by 10% of the work. Okay, 1 by 10 of the work, and when it has to complete in one day. Okay, A completes 1 by 10 of the work, and when it has to complete 22 by 60, so you can just multiply and see. Okay, you can just multiply and see. So this is how you can do this question. So let us just calculate how we'll do this. Okay, I just explained to you the concept. Now let us just calculate how this will do. Okay, so okay. And also, if you don't want to go in very cumbersome calculation, okay. Yeah, if you don't want to go in very cumbersome calculation, what you can do here, see this is saying B leaves 2 days before actual completion of the work. Okay, B leaves 2 days before actual completion of the work. So that means whatever work was left, A did. Okay, whatever work was left, A did for 2 days. Now, how much work A did for 2 days? Okay, how much work A did for 2 days? 20% of the work A did for 2 days. Okay, 20% of the work A did for 2 days. Fine, because A can work only 10% in one day. Okay, A can work only 10% in one day because 1 by 10. Okay, because sorry, 100 by 10. So A can work only 10% in one day. Fine, and in B left 2 days before actual completion of the work. That means in 2 days, A did 20% of the work. That means A and B completed 80% of the work together. Okay, A and B completed 80% of the work together. Now A and B will complete in how many days A and B will complete 80% of the work together? Okay, so um, we can definitely calculate this because in 1 by 10 days, okay, in 1 by 10, sorry, A completes, sorry, uh, huh. So we have to calculate 80% of the work is completed by A and B, and in how many days did they complete 80% of the work? So A does 10% of the work in one day, and B does 8.33% of the work in one day. Okay, because 100 by 12. Okay, so in one day, both of them are doing 18.33% of the work. Okay, so in how many days will they do 80% of the work? Okay, so this will be 80 divided by 18.33. Okay, and this will come to be how much? Let us just check. So let us take this as 18.3 only. Okay, and let us just divide this by 80. Okay, so 18 threes are, you know what it is? 8 threes are 24, 54. 18 fours are is 32, 3. So that means 72. 18 fives are you will not take because that will become 90. Okay, so this is coming to be something 4 point some days. Okay, 4 point something days, and 4 point something, let us say कर ही लेते हैं divide. So we have 183 divided by 800. Okay, 183 divided by 800. So 183 into 4, you will get 8 threes are 3 fours are 12, 8 fours are 32, 33, and this is 732. 732. So this is 6 and this is 1. Okay, this is 8 and this is 6 and 0. Okay, so you have this much. You will have 4 here. Okay, sorry. So you will have 4 here, just 2 point here, and you will have 8, 3 5s are 15, 1 carry 8, 5s are 40, 0, 4, and this will be 9, 0, 5. So let us not take this. You'll have 8, 3 also will be, so just take 4.3. Okay, so 4.3 plus 2, that means you get 6.3 days. Okay, you get 6.3 days. In 6.3 days, the work is completed. Okay, and it is saying B leaves 2 days before the scheduled completion of the work. Okay, B leaves 2 days before the scheduled completion of the work. So now B is leaving 2 days before scheduled completion of the work. Now B did not work for 2 days. Okay, B did not work for 2 days. That means How much work he did not do? He did not do 24% of the work. Okay, now B did not do 24% of the work because B is leaving 2 days before the scheduled completion of the work. So how much work is left? Okay, so how much work is left? Obviously, the work left is 76%. So A and B together did 76% of the work and A alone did 24% of the work. Okay, so A does 10% work in one day. Okay, A does 10% work in one day. So that means 1% is work is done in 1 by 10 days. Okay, so that means 24% work is done in 24 by 10 days. So that means A requires 2.4 days to complete this much 24% work, and A and B together how many days? So see, A and B together do 83.33% of the work in one day, and together they will do in how many days? 76% divided by 18.33%. So this 76 divided by 18.33 is how much? Okay, so again you can take this 183, do this 160. Okay, so obviously this will work. 3 fours are 12, 8 fours are 32, 33. Okay, and this 3, so 732. So you have this 760 and this 732, and you will have this 8, you will have this 5, 28, and this is 0. Okay, so obviously now you can do this. Okay, so 183 and so on. Fine, so you will have this. Okay, you will have this. I think this is coming to be something 4.1. So now you have 4.1 plus 2.4. Okay, so this is coming to be how much? 6.5 days. Okay, 6.5 days. Fine, so this is how you can do this. Okay, I hope method is clear. See, when this is saying if B leaves 2 days before actual completion of the work, that means B leaves 2 days before actual completion of the work. That means A did last two, only A worked the last 2 days. So that means 20% of the work A did. Okay, 20% of the work A did. So that means 80% of the work together was done by A and B. So you know A can do 20% of the work in 2 days, and A and B together 18.33% of the work in one day. So 80% of the work in how many? 18.33% of the work. Fine. Now when the question is saying that if B leaves 2 days before the scheduled completion of the work, that means B did not work for 2 days. Okay, B did not work for 2 days. Fine. So the scheduled got disturbed. Okay, the scheduled got disturbed means now the schedule will be extended. So B did not work for 2 days. So that means 24% of the work was left. 76 was percent was completed by A and B together. So 24% of the work A will complete in how many days? 2.4 days. Okay, 2.4 days, and 76%, 76 divided by 18.33, that will come to be approximately 4.1, and you will have this 2.4. So this is coming to be 6.5 days. Okay, so this is how you can do this. Now let us see the last question. It is saying if another person C who does negative work, that is works against A and B, can completely destroy the work in 20 days, joins them, and they work together all the time. Okay, so that means what? If another person C who does negative work, that is works against A and B and can completely destroy the work in 20 days, joins them, they work together all the time. Okay, so what this question is saying, this C comes and it is destroying the work, and it can completely destroy the work in 20 days. So that means 100% work can be destroyed in 20 days. That means in one day this person is destroying how much work? 5% work it is destroying. Okay, in one day it is destroying 5% of the work, and together A and B are doing how much work? 10% plus 8.33%. So that means 18.33% work is done, 5% work is destroyed. So in one day, 13.33% work is done. So 100% work will be done in how many days? In one day, 13.33% work is done. Fine. So 1% work is done in 1 by 13.33 days. Okay, so 100% work will be done in how many days? 100 divided by 13.33. Now you can divide this and you can obviously get the answer. You can take this as 13.3 and take this as 100. So you will have 1000 and 1333. Okay, so just try to multiply this by 8. You will have 24. 2. You will have again 24. Fine. And this plus 2, 26. 2 you will do, that will become 1064. So 100, do this will come to be 7. So you will have 3 sevens are 21. 2 this will come to be 27. Sorry, 21 plus 2 is 23. 2 carry over 931. Okay, 931. So this will become 9, this will become 6, this will become 0. Okay, now put one more 0 here, and 133 into 5, 5 threes are 15, 1 carry over, 5 threes are 15, 16, 1 carry over. So this is coming to be 665. So you will get 7.5 days approximately. Okay, 7.5 days approximately. So this is how you can do these questions. I hope everybody is clear with this thing, and we'll meet in the next class. All right. So this is up for this class.